you, Kelly. Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name's Megan with Sawgrass. First of all, before we get started, just quickly in the chat, tell me your name, where you're from, and if you've taken one of our classes before. That will help me to better understand what I need to go over with everybody and make sure that everybody has a good class experience and that everybody learns something. I also want to let everybody know that Jimmy Lamb, our education expert, is in the chat as well. So between myself and Jimmy, we will be able to help you and answer any of the questions that you have. So I'm just going to turn over to the chat right now and just make sure that everybody who is in here is ready to go and help to better understand what everyone needs to learn today. Lori is from Chicago and knows nothing. That is awesome because a lot of people in here, I believe, are going to be beginners. So that works out perfect. Anybody else? My boss is on here, so I have to be on my best behavior. That's good to know. He also knows nothing. I knew that already. Anybody else? Well, everyone's a little bit shy today, and that is totally fine. So why don't we jump into what we're going to be working on? So today we are doing a Father's Day item. We are making this stump that has a photo on it with Happy Father's Day and love whoever is making it. In this case, it is our friend Jackson here. And what is cool about this is all one sheet of EasySubli vinyl. For those of you who don't know, first of all, everything we use here can be purchased at Michael's, including our printers, the cutter we're using, the vinyl, and the inks that go in the printer. We have someone from Ohio. Jimmy wants to know if I cut down that stump. No, I did not. I bought this from Michael's. Jimmy, pay attention. Everything from here is from Michael's. So what we're doing today is this is all one sheet of vinyl. What's interesting about this is that this is something you cannot make with traditional vinyl. What we are doing with this project is we are going to print onto our EasySubli vinyl using our EasySubli inks. We are going to dry the ink, and then we're going to transfer the sheet of vinyl onto our stump. This is slightly different from traditional sublimation for those of you who are new to sublimation, where you print onto sublimation paper, stick the paper to your item, and use the heat, time, and pressure to transfer the image to a polyester-coated item. That is a slight difference. The good thing is no matter which ink you're using, whether it's the EasySubli ink or our SubliJet UHD ink, they work on both items. They work on the vinyl and they work on our normal polyester-coated substrates. So that is the exciting part about having a Sawgrass printer. So let's jump right into this project. We are going to head into sawgrassink.com. That is our website. And we're going to click on Creative Studio. Now, Creative Studio is our design platform. Creative Studio is designed to work with our printers and our inks. So we are a one-stop shop here. I'm going to go to Start Creating. And I'm going to go to blank products. So in our blank products section is where we have hundreds of templates that are pre-measured out that you can design on. We are printing onto our EasySubli vinyl, as I said before. So we're going to go to Design Canvases. And our EasySubli vinyl is an 8.5 by 11 sheet. I am going to type in 11 here because I am going to be designing in landscape mode. So an 8.5 by 11 sheet flipped on its side is 11 by 8.5. So I'm going to select that. And when it comes to Creative Studio, you can use it as either a free or a premium member. Just to go into it a little bit, but not with too much detail, premium members, you get access to all of our premium designs, along with the ability to upload your own fonts, download mockups without a print along it, and a few other things. Today, our project is completely free. Everything we're doing within our project, you can do as a free user. So I am going to start off by going to Elements. And I am going to go to Shapes because I want to put a picture into what we call a mask that is going to shape my picture into an oval. So I'm going to go down here and find my oval mask. Now, as you saw before on our stump, this is turned so that it is horizontal, not vertical. So what I want to do is turn this oval. I'm going to rotate. There we go. And I'm going to scale it up. I'm going to make this oval a little bit larger and take up more of my screen. So now I have that where I want it. I want to put a picture inside of this oval. So I'm going to Galleries, and we have folders here where you can either choose a photo you've already uploaded or upload your own. I'm going to go to My Images. If I wanted to upload my own photo, what I would do is go over to this PNG, JPEG, SVG upload area. And from here, I could upload from my computer, Facebook, Instagram, Pixabay, etc. I already have the picture that I want uploaded. So I'm going to find it here. And as you see, when it comes onto my screen in my design area, it's in front of the oval that I want it to be behind. So I'm going to select the photo, and I'm going to go to my toolbox and click Send Backwards. And as you can see, now it's behind my oval. But as you can see from our stump, there is no black outline around here. And when it comes to running this through the cutter, having a black outline around this picture could be confusing for the cutter to read. So what we want to do is basically eliminate that black background that is around our mask. So what I'm going to do is click on the mask and go to Fill Color. And this will allow me to fill the background area with whatever color I would like. To make the background seemingly disappear, what I'm going to do is turn it white so that it matches the background of the paper. So now, as far as the computer is concerned, and as far as the cutter will know, this photo ends where this oval ends. So now what I want to do is I want to put words on it. I want to say Happy Father's Day. Now, when it comes to traditional vinyl, what you would do is maybe if you were able to stick a photo onto something, you'd have to layer the vinyl on top of the image. But we're a one-stop shop here, and it's all going to print out together. So in the computer, I'm going to be able to add text. So I'm going to go to Text, and we have access to hundreds of free fonts in our Creative Studio. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to choose this Abril Fat Face. It's a very popular font. And I'm going to write Happy. And as you can see, it comes in black. It's a little difficult to read. So again, I'm going to Fill Color, and I'm going to turn it white. And I can tug on the sides here to make this larger. So Happy. And I can do one of two things when I want to keep adding more fonts. I can click on Abril Fat Face again, and it will add another text box. Or I can click on text that I've already added and click Duplicate, and it will automatically add another text box to my design area. So it all depends on what you want to do. Since I have another text box here, I'll write Day, turn it white, click on Fathers, turn that white also. And with both of these, I just want to tug on the sides here. Whoop, not what I wanted to grab. There we go. And I'm going to just layer these over here. So Happy Father's Day. And then you can add something along the lines of love, whoever. I like this font because it is a picture of a child, and this looks more handwritten, like a child may have written it. And there you go. So what makes this project different and interesting are a number of things. One, you're able to use your own photo. You can personalize this to quite an extent. Also, you can add a message to it and a name. So there's a lot of personalization that goes on here. And best of all, it is one sheet of vinyl. So we have our project done. It took just a few minutes to get it designed within Creative Studio. And now we're going to click print. And what really helps when you do this is to make sure that your printer is plugged in. So that's what I'm going to do. There we go. So I am going to select my printer. And this is a US letter size page. And an important thing to note, see right here, it says mirror, and it's not selected. That is on purpose because when we are working with EasySubli Vinyl, we are printing directly onto the vinyl. That means that when we go to transfer that vinyl onto an item, it will be face up. So we do not want to mirror it. When we do traditional sublimation, for those of you who are unfamiliar with traditional sublimation, you want to mirror your image because you're printing onto a sheet of paper and then sticking that sheet of paper face down onto whatever item you are working with. And then when it sublimates, that image can be shown back at you. Obviously, there are some exceptions, like if you're sublimating onto glass, that is a time you would not want to mirror. But for the most part, rule of thumb, when you are working with traditional sublimation, you want to mirror. When you are working with EasySubli Vinyl, you do not want to mirror. So that is why I'm going to make sure that mirror is not selected. So I'm going then to go to my materials. For product, I want heat transfer vinyl. So the reason why you choose what product you're working with is because, like I said before, our Creative Studio, our printer, and our Sawgrass Print Manager, which is what you have on the screen here, they are all interconnected. So what we're telling the printer is you need to put down a certain amount of ink because each item you press requires a different amount of ink, a different pressure, a different time, and a different heat setting. So we are relaying all the important information that the printer needs to know to it with our Sawgrass Print Manager. So we're using heat transfer vinyl. And then when it comes to color mode, you have two options, either photographic or vivid. For this item, we will be choosing photographic as our color mode. That's because we're printing a photo. And the photographic mode helps to make sure that all of the skin tones are shown across the proper way. Vivid is best used when working with graphics or colors that kind of bounce off each other. So we're going to make sure that we have photographic here. And then we're going to click print. And the computer is going to do its thing. And what's going to happen is a secondary SPM screen is going to pop up. Now that Sawgrass Print Manager screen will give us more options for customizing our print space, whether it's we wanted to do multiple copies on one page, or if we wanted to have a bunch of different items printed at one time. For our purposes here, that is not necessary because we are only printing one item. So I have this the way I want it, and I'm just going to click print. And now we're going to wait a second, and the printer is going to print out our sheet of vinyl. And we have, like I said before, Jimmy in the chat here helping out. I think he's letting everybody know that you can find our Creative Studio at sawgrassink.com. You can also download our print manager for free at sawgrassink.com. Yep, and so just so you know, Angeli, when it comes to our Creative Studio, it completely lives online. So that is not an item that you download. It is accessible online, and all of your creations are saved to the program online. Now, our Sawgrass Print Manager is a download for your computer. It works on both PC and Mac. So we've got this printing out. Now I want to show you something. And I'm gonna, if it's okay, I'm gonna put it down here next to the other stump that we have. So there's quite a difference in the way that these images look. As you can tell, the one is a lot brighter than the other. That is because it takes the proper time, temperature, and pressure for colors to pop with sublimation. So that is why these colors look a little bit different. Also, what's important to note is that this ink is currently wet. If I were to touch this, I have the potential of smudging the image. So what we need to do is we need to cure this ink. And what that means is we just have to put it under our heat press. Now it's important to note you do not have to close your heat press. You want to hover the heat press over this sheet of vinyl for about 45 seconds to a minute at 311 degrees. Because what's going to happen is we're going to run this through the cutter, and as the blade is running over the image, it has potential to smear it, and when we touch it to weed it, it has the potential to smear as well, and we don't want that. Also important to note that 311 degrees, don't deviate from that. Don't think that you can go at a higher temperature and cure it at half the time. I've tried it. It doesn't work. The glue on the back will activate, and there is a plastic seal on the back. It will stick to that plastic seal if it gets too hot. So 311 for about a minute will get this the way that it needs to be and will not damage the back of your vinyl. Otherwise, we have to start all over. So just a few more seconds. And when this is done, what you're going to see is a change in color already, just by adding a little bit of heat. So let me take this out and put them next to each other here. As you can see, that heat has already started to activate the colors of this. Now, some of you may be wondering, how is this even working? So when it comes to sublimation, it takes polyester or a polymer coating for the ink to bind to. This vinyl is coated in polyester, which is why the ink is able to bind to it. And that is why we're then able to transfer the vinyl onto something that is not polyester, like this piece of wood. So what's also important when it comes to working with wood is it actually retains a little bit of moisture. Bet you didn't know that. So what we're going to do is, while we work with this vinyl, I'm going to put this piece of wood underneath our heat press as well to get some of the moisture out of it. What could happen is, if we were to put this vinyl on this piece of wood without it first having the moisture taken out of it, it could start to bubble underneath the surface, and obviously we don't want that. So by having this sit underneath some heat, it's going to draw out the moisture and make it easier for us to work with. So while that is happening, let's switch gears and head over to our cutter. So what we do to have this piece of vinyl read by our Silhouette Cameo is use what we call a PixScan sheet. What we're going to do is stick this piece of vinyl to our PixScan sheet. And I'm just trying to get it even. There we go. There's a little bit of bubbling. We don't want that. Okay. So here's our PixScan sheet. And what we're going to do is put this back on the table and, believe it or not, take a picture of it. So I'm going to take out my phone here. No, I am not texting. I'm going to open up my camera and hover my phone over this and take a picture. And now I don't know if we can get a close-up camera. That is not what I want to show you. There we go, of my phone. But that is the picture of the PixScan sheet with the vinyl on it. What's really important to note is that you want to be in a well-lit area so you don't have any shadows, and you want to make sure that you have the entire PixScan sheet in your image. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image and I'm going to email it to myself. Just going to go to email here. And I'm going to email it to myself on my computer. And once it goes through, what we'll do is we will save it to our desktop, and we will open it back up again in our Silhouette Studio and go from there. So one of the things that we have to make sure is that we have some decent internet. So just give me a second here, because it does need to send So let me re-pull it up. And try sending it again, because it was taking a little while. Oh, there we go. Now I'm finally getting a send bar. So that's going to send. While we wait for that to get to the computer, what I'm going to do is take my mat and load it into my Silhouette Cameo. There we go. And that send is just finishing up. There we go. Looks like it just finished up. In a second, it will land in my email. And as I said before, all I'm going to do is save it to my desktop, which I'm doing right now. Okay. Now I'm going to open up Silhouette Studio. Awesome. And so when I get in here, I'm going to go to my PixScan sheet. I'm going to import PixScan image from file. Here it is. Open. Continue. Continue. Oh, and that showed up odd. So let me reload it. It's got my PixScan sheet. Not sure why that showed up that way. Continue. Not sure why this image is showing up that way in Silhouette Studio. So what I'm going to do is just take the picture over, send it to myself, and reload it in. So what I'll also do is restart Silhouette Studio just in case. I've never had that happen before. So let me try loading the same one in. And if that doesn't work, and if it's not a Silhouette Studio issue, then it might be an image issue. Okay, looks like it might be the image. So let's unload it and take the picture again. So as I said before, take the camera, some good height, some good lighting, get the entire PixScan sheet in there. Again, email it to yourself. It's sending much quicker now, so maybe it was just a bad file because it was taking a little while to send. So while it sends, let's see if we have anything here. Almost done sending. All right. Yep, still taking a little while to send. It might be because of the internet that it's sending a little oddly. So what we're gonna do is have this send over. If for some reason it goes in again and it's just got that weird image, we can do one of two things. I can just cut it with scissors, or if you just want to at least see how the cutter works, we can run it through there. So why don't you guys let me know in the comments which you would prefer to see. If it runs through the cutter and that image is all blurry, it may not cut perfectly, but at least then you can see what the cutter looks like. If I cut it with scissors, you won't get to see what the cutter looks like, but there's a better chance it might be perfectly round. So let me know what backup plan you would all prefer to see. And while I wait for that information to come in, I will save the new image to my desktop, and we can hopefully make sure it works. There we go. So let's try this again, and hopefully it was just a bad picture. Ah, there we go. See, it was just a bad image. You know, technology these days, you just sometimes can't trust it. But we're all good now. So let's go to our trace panel. We're going to select trace area, and we're going to trace around this oval. And then it's starting to fill in a lot of the oval. We're going to increase the threshold so that all the outside areas are covered, as you can see here. And now we're going to trace and attach. As you can see, and you'll be able to see it better on the next screen, but it forms a little bit of a red line around the oval. That's showing us this is the area that will be traced. So now I'm going to go to send, and you see a much better view of that red outline here. Just like the printer, the cutter works a lot better when it's plugged into your computer, so I'm going to grab that. And while I'm waiting for it to connect, we'll go ahead and load this in. There we go. And sometimes you have to do a little bit of a search to make sure that you have the proper Cameo attached. The curse you have to have when you have a bunch. And then we'll press send. And it's a little bit loud, so I'll let the cutter do its thing. Okay, now when this allows me, what I'm going to do is unload the PixScan sheet from my cutter. And now comes the weeding part. So I'm going to take my hook, and I'm going to start to weed out this white outline. There we go. And now what I'll go ahead and do is I'll take off this image from the back plastic here. I'll put it on top of our other stump, and we can press it. So I'm just peel this away. And what's great about this is if you were doing layers of other vinyl, oh, a little thunderstorm happening here. I think I was just telling the Kelly, who was moderating, that every day around 4 it rains. Was I not right? So what the great thing is here, there's no layering. only one thing to weed. See, Kelly agrees with me. Only one thing to weed, and it's this one image. Now, we do have a little bit of a white outline around it. Sometimes that does happen, but for our purposes today, we're going to go ahead and press this. So normally when you press EasySubli, you have to press it at 311 degrees for 15 seconds. This wood is a little bit tougher to adhere to, and what I've found is if I press it for 30 seconds, it sticks a lot better. So I'm going to take this blowout paper and put it on top here. Now, blowout paper, it's newsprint paper you can get at any sort of crafting or hardware store, and it keeps the top of your heat press from getting ink on it. So I'm going to go ahead and press this 311 degrees for 30 seconds. The colors should remain just fine, but it's that adhesion that needs that little bit of extra time when it comes to working with the wood. And it's nice and dried out, so we shouldn't really see any bubbles. So we have about 10 seconds left. You guys are a quiet group today. Questions, come on. We are ready to answer your questions. So if you have any questions, comments, we would be happy to help. We have 2 seconds left. There we go. And it's a little bit warm, but not too warm. And ta-da, there it is. So happy Father's Day. Love, Jackson. Like I said before, everything that we used here can be purchased either at Michael's or, oop, it came off. See, I told you, it takes a little bit of extra time. Let me try sticking it again. 30 seconds must not have been enough this time. See, sometimes the good thing is it fell off, but guess what? It was all one sheet. So you just got to stick it right back on and we'll be good to go. So here, we'll stick it a little bit longer. And you know what? A little bit of extra pressure doesn't hurt either. So there we go. About 20 seconds. Again, for the most part, it is 311 for 15 seconds, but depending on the material you're working with, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get it to adhere. So let's see, we got about 5 seconds here. One. There we go. Whoop. So there we go. No issues there. I'm rubbing up against it and it feels good. Let's see. One more quick. So Vic said, preheat the wood. Vic, I already did that. Man, were you not watching? And it's a little bit of a dip as well. So that's part of the reason why it's a little uneven. So that's probably part of the reason why it pressed a little odd. But for the most part, super easy to do. And just, you know, when you go and purchase, just make sure that it's as flat as you can get it. So any questions anyone has? This is, you know, we do have an hour slotted, so we have time to answer your questions. If you want, we can show you what project we're going to be doing next. Alex, is that perfect? Just finished this one up today. This will be our next project that we do. It's a Halloween themed pencil pouch. And then it even has a little backside to it as well. So this will be done, I believe, in August. So we do not have any classes scheduled for July, but we do have August classes scheduled out. I believe this is the first week of August. The sign-up sheet is not up yet, but hopefully by next week it will be up. So if you're looking for more ideas, other fun ideas for things to do, maybe that's more kid themed, this will be coming up in August. And it was a lot of fun to make. And it's definitely a little bit more challenging. Making this design took a lot more in Creative Studio. And this actually took 3 sheets of EasySubli Vinyl because of the 3 different parts that we're working with here. So if you're looking for a challenge come August, highly recommend this class that we'll be teaching. Yep, and it's just in time for back to school. So any questions anybody has? If you want to get more information or you want to watch this class again, you can catch it on the Michael's YouTube channel within the next 24 to 48 hours. If you want to try to make this project yourself or any other project that we've done here or that anyone else who's taught in Michael's class has done, you can do the project, post it online, use hashtag #MakeItWithMichaels. We'd love to see what you come up with. For those of you who are wondering, who maybe want to know more information about Sawgrass, we have our free Sawgrass Academy you can access at sawgrassink.com. And there you can learn all about sublimation, Sawgrass products, and how to run a business using sublimation. So great classes there. Jimmy and myself head up those classes, very informational, again, free to access. We also do weekly Facebook Lives. Normally they are Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. This week, because of this class, they were pushed to tomorrow. So tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern time, you can catch us on Facebook Live doing traditional sublimation for a Father's Day project. So if you want to learn more, that's a great place to head. We are at Sawgrass Ink, that's Sawgrass INK, on all major social media platforms. And we also have a podcast. It's called Ink Differently. We talk to sublimation and craft business owners about their businesses, what's made them successful, and they give us all of their fun secrets. You can find Ink Differently at sawgrassink.com. You can also find it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, TuneIn, and Stitcher. So we have a lot you can have, a lot of access to fun items and ways that you can learn. So if there are no questions, and I'm holding out for questions, so if you have them, now is the time to ask. But if there are no questions, we will go and see you next time. If there are no questions. Lori's laughing. Lori wants to ask a question. She's just shy. Oh, now she's thinking about typing. She's like, oh God, what can I think of? What can I think of? I'm on the spot now. What can I do? Let's see. Lori says she's behaving. Patty said, can you show again? Patty, you talking about the whole project itself? Because I don't think we have time to redo the entire thing. Unfortunately, we do have a hard out at 5 o'clock. But as I said before, this will be accessible on the Michael's YouTube channel within the next 24 to 48 hours. So you could definitely watch it there. All right. Well, I will let everybody go and enjoy their Wednesday. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Please leave a good review because, we want to keep coming back and doing this stuff. And join us in August for our little back to school monster pencil pouch. And we'll see you next time, hopefully. Bye.